I got the horse right here. The name is Paul Revere, and here's a guy that says...
Hello, racing fans, and welcome back to another edition of Handicappers Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. I'm Mike Heads. I'm with Drew Forrester. We're going to go through the Monday, the whole Thanksgiving Monday, October 12th program at Hastings. 4 stakes races on tap, as well as a marathon race. 8 races in total. First race goes at 150. We might have a substantial pick 6 carryover.
Yeah.
We don't know as of taping. Obviously, the Sun has to get through the Sunday program, but it's a mandatory payoff.
Yeah, if somebody gets it on Sunday, the game's over. But the way it's been going, I think most combinations will be covered up on the Sunday.
Yeah, I believe so.
You probably have a good chance there will be a mandatory payout. We're going to guess somewhere over $100,000 on the Monday in the pick 6, which will start in the 3rd race, as there are 8 races on tap. Of course, you mentioned 4 stakes and a very nice endurance race.
Likely wet conditions too.
I'd say
so. Get your if you're handicapping. Of course, anyone watching the show
get your thinking cap
on. Read the form a bit and definitely look for the wet track horses. It looks like it's going to be wet track.
That's what they're calling for. It's been raining most of the week. It's not raining right now. No. But if I was a betting man, I'd bet on rain.
It looks like it's going to be a little rain in the forecast, and it's not going to be a fast track on Monday.
No, probably in the rain as it was last year. Let's jump right into it. First race on the card is a $4,000 non-winners of the years for fillies and mares. 7 signed up for this event. I did go to the outside. I did go to the outside. The 7 Hidden Harbor, just been a model of consistency throughout her time here at Hastings. 16 starts at Hastings, 7 wins, 5 seconds, and 1/3. What's that? 13 to 16 in the money, all for much higher. It's the end of the year. They decided to drop her in. They've had trouble getting races to go for. They drop her in for the 4,000. Too bad she's not in the pick 6 because she would be a single for me. Looks like a handful in here. I got her on top. I put Bubbly on Ice in the 2nd spot. She's a little bit out of her condition because she's eligible for a non-3. This is a non-4 non-winners of the year, but the only time she ran for 4,000 in her life wasn't a non-2. She won by almost 7. Anytime she's in for 4,000, you have to respect Bubbly on Ice, and especially Barb Head's going very good right now. And I put Farniente. Looks like, of everybody else, she looks like the most talented horse. The Tenet ran a big one last time, winning her non-3, but she's an in-and-out kind of horse you can't really rely on. Farniente's got 2 good back-to-back races, just getting beat by Miss Heatheridge last time in a non-winners of the year. Richard Hamill re-rides for Craig McPherson. I got her in the 3rd spot. 7, 4, and 3 for me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Hidden Harbor. I mean, I don't know what kind of Hidden Harbor are we going to get. I mean, if she does make it to the gate, I don't know if she will. But I mean, anytime you see a 25 down to 4, there's some issues.
Yeah.
But Hidden Harbor, 60% of Hidden Harbor shows up. She wins the race, and she's going to be very tough. She's sporadic work. She has 1 3/8 in early September and 39 and 2, and then a little 50 breeze last 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Not the best work pattern. Obviously, they've had some hiccups, but I know they've been entering her, as you mentioned. That there's been some 16s, some 12-5s that haven't gone, and I don't know if she's been in there, but I just know that there's been no mare races go 6.5 furlongs, so it's been kind of a tough go for Hidden Harbor, other than the Sabrina race, which she wanted no part of Sabrina, so that 25 that went. I put Bubbly on Ice, not at her best distance, going 6.5, but she might get a good pace scenario. She is what she is. She's a 4-year-old turning 5 next year. She just won her non-2. She is overstepping a condition, but wants to stay at the 4,000 level. And I put the 3 Farniente in the mix as well. I agree. 7-4-3 in the Monday opener. On to race number 2. We do have some $4,000 open sprinters here. 6.5 furlongs, 4,000 colts. Actually, it's for. I got 2 mares in here.
Yeah, a couple girls in here.
The 5 Curious Gal and the 7 CAMS are both in against the boys, making up the field of 8. And I did go to the outside horse number 8, Leo's in the House, who is dropping from 62.50 down for the 4. Battled on the inside against Eddie the Bear, Peyton's Best, and Cowboy Commander. This is an easier spot, but I know he's not in top form right now, Leo's in the House, but I still think he's in good enough form to defeat the 7 rivals he's up against. So I'm going to try Leo's in the House to win it. Put the 3 horse After Court coming back in a week. I like the fact that he stayed close to a pretty fast pace last time. And I know Fleming's Beach ran a good one, and he ran second to Fleming's Beach, who was well man. And I put the 4 Chapel Boy. I never seem to pick Chapel Boy. It's usually one of your selections.
My horse. I left him off.
But he was today, 4 wide. He had a terrible trip from an outside post last time, and draws a little better. And I put him in the mix. But the 8 is the horse to beat. The 8, Leo's in the House, for me is the 100% the horse to beat. I went 8, 3, and 4.
I got all different horses. This is a tough race.
Yeah.
Luckily, it's not in the pick 6. We do not kick off the second race.
We're not going to mess up
today.
any pick 6.
I went to the Philly CA Miss. I think she's been running very good all year. 5 out of 6 in the money. Most of those she's running those allowance races. Those are pretty tough races. She drops into a 4. She does have to run against the boys. I like Amadeo Perez on her. I think he'll sit her perfect. There's a fair bit of speed. I think she gets first jump on him. I have her in the top spot. But Prince of East Herbie, Pedro Alvarado goes to her. Good second last time behind Brother Chunky, who was a very good horse at that time in the bottom level. And he said all the early fractions was getting pressure and just folded a little bit late.
I don't mind him. That's a good pick.
Staying ahead of After Court. But there's a fair bit of speed in here. That's why I put him in the second spot. And Briarda County, took him a while to break through that non-winners of the year condition, but look at the Byers. He's getting 71, 68. That's very good in this field. And he's the kind of horse, he's got the back class. With a win under his belt, he could step forward. Richard Hamill sticks with him. I went 7, 1, and 6 in the second. On to the third.
Start of the pick 6.
Start of the pick 6.
Hopefully it's carry over. You won't care if it's not.
Yeah.
It'll be about $400
I don't think
in it.
there might not be a pick 6 if it's not carried over, but they do kick it off in the fantasy for 2-year-old fillies going long. And I went to the 5, Sea Eau Claire. Wow, what a season she's had. Gets beat 3/4 of a length in her maiden race against the boys. Ebony Warrior, Fear the Cat, has been perfect since then, just keeps getting better. Snuggles got within a neck of her last time, but Sea Eau Claire is definitely the horse to beat in here. I got her on top. I put McDove in the second spot. Steve McDonald, a good friend of the show, good friend of the Dairy Bar and Grill, bought this filly for $40,000. She's a proud citizen. She will get the distance. Just the one run. It was on the speed though, but I'm guessing she's not going to need the pace. With her breeding, it's not really like a speed crazy kind of breeding.
Well, Dove had Hunt with speed. The dam of the sire of the dam.
The sire of the dam. Because Proud Citizen wasn't. He was a nice kind of
he could run on any distance.
Lingering kind of horse. So I put McDove in the second spot, and Snuggles, of course, has to be respected. I put the third spot, just getting beat a neck by Sea Eau Claire last time. I'm sure Dino's had this race circled on the calendar for her, thinking she should stretch out. She runs like she will. She's bred like she will. I could have had her on the top spot. Those are the 3 I liked, but I did put Sea Eau Claire in the top spot. 5, 6, and 3 for me.
Yeah, I agree with Sea Eau Claire. I mean, she's the best filly in the race. I just think the distance will help. Haynesfield ran 1.25 miles. The sire. Most horses out of the mare, Sweetheart Rose, are route. Like Dog was a route horse.
Yeah, she's an awesome one.
They're all route. The distance won't hurt them, and so I just think Sea Eau Claire is miles the best in here. I put Snuggles in for second. Maybe not miles, but Snuggles had a good trip. Sea Eau Claire did all the running early and had to fight on the pace, and Snuggles did get a good trip sitting in behind her. Rico gave her a great ride and rallied up to be, a threatening second, but still Sea Eau Claire was the best. And I put the one horse, Don't Tell My Husband, I think another Rosberg, should like the distance.
She was rolling late last time.
That horse was running on well. Yeah. Took advantage of a fast pace scenario, took her back off the pace. She was better suited to running off the pace as opposed to running near the pace like she was in her prior 2 starts. I went to the Sadie Diamond Futurity horses, the 5, 3, and 1. I did leave McDove off the ticket, but could be a mistake. But I like Sea Eau Claire. I went 5, 3, 1 in the fantasy. On to the 4th race. This is the starter series, 1.5 mile final leg, a nice big $20,000 purse for horses that have run for $5,000 or less, and in the last season, and you have to run for $5,000 if you haven't qualified. But I ended up on the 4 horse, What Goes Around. I really liked his run last time. It was his second run. It was only his 3rd run of the year. It was his 2nd run after winning, or he come back in 9 days after winning quite comfortably in a non-winners of 3.
Going long when he'd been off since June.
He was beaten 4 lengths. He made an early. He checked at the head. There's an inquiry in that race. He checked at the head of the lane. It cost him. That's why he would have been a little closer to France's Finest. France's Finest did not impede anyone, but My point being too is that there's a big weight shift too. Francis Finest packs $122. That's a load. That's 6
going a
more
mile
than he
and a
carried
half,
last time. What goes around drops weight, but he, Pedro obviously can't do the weight, but he's going to do 118. So there's a significant weight change, better pace or better spacing between races for what goes around. He has some back class. He used to run at some pretty nice races in his career. I'm going to try him to defeat Francis Finest. I put the 8-horse Ain't Tellin', who's been running in some open company races at Emerald, in for third, and I can see Tapacero or Ganbei being in the mix as well. But I like what goes around. I know it wasn't his best race last time. I know he was pushed into that last race because of the timing came up a week too soon, but the race filled and he went. So there was 9 days in between races after a tough win, off a layoff, and I just thought, he's better than that race, and he might be one that can be better than what he showed. I went 4.58.
I went to the 5, Francis Finest.
Oh no, he's the horse.
It was going a mile and 3/8 last time. He won by 2, and he was just getting stronger, I felt, as the race went on. I don't think that little extra bit of distance to a mile and a half, that extra quarter is going to bother him. Or extra eighth of a mile is going to bother him. So I put him on top. I put Talkis Charm in the second spot. Only ran a mile and a half one time. That was last year, and he won. A nice move. He's a nice closing horse that can take it easy on himself going a mile and a half, because he doesn't have to run a lot early on. He can just kick back, gallop along, and make a nice move like he does. I think he needed to race last time. He was scratched. He'd been off a month. I think he wasn't over his ailment. I think he'll be better this time. I put him in the second spot. And I put Ain't Tellin', as you mentioned. Jim Penny's shipped some horses up here. Jim Penny's a very high percentage trainer for years at Emerald Downs. And this guy looks well met in here. Just won for 15,000.
Yeah, open 15. That's got to work well here.
That has to. I didn't want to leave him off the ticket.
He was nominated to the premiers.
Yeah. So there you
go.
go.
By the way, he was nominated to the premiers. So I mean, they do like the horse.
Yeah. But he ran for 4 earlier on the meet, so he's eligible for this. I went 5, 2, and 8 in the 4th. On to the 5th, the Ascot Graduation. 2-year-old boys turn, going long. I went with a bit of a shot here. I went to the 7, We Found Gold. Just because I see a lot of speed. Christofferson's got speed. Rock Concert's got speed.
There's going to be speed.
Dashing Dawn's got speed. Power Corrupt's on the lead. Stands in Command comes from off it. Soulcat, he's not going to be speed. He was speed last time.
He will not be near the lead, trust me.
Excuse me, but I see a lot of gas. I was going to pick Power Corrupt, but I see a lot of gas. Of the speed horses, I think Power Corrupt is kind of the fighter.
Right.
He fought everybody off last time, was very good, but he has to go farther now. I picked We Found Gold because I like that second behind Fear of the Cat. I know Mike Anderson was debating whether to run him in a straight maiden race. He does put him in here. I think he's going to get a good trip. He's an improving horse. He's going the right way. We Found Gold. He's going to be a price. I put him on top of Power Corrupt. I went for the Mike Anderson Daily Double here. I'm sure Mike will appreciate that.
Yeah, he will. I hope it works. Yeah.
And who did I put in the 3rd spot? The 8, Stands in Command. Tough to knock this horse. He should get the distance. Laid a little bit closer than he normally does last time. I think Lopez will take him back a little bit further and make a good move this time for Stands in Command. Only got beat once. That was the second. Do not want to leave him off the ticket. I went 7, 5, and 8.
There is so much going on in this race. This is the best race on the card, and it's absolutely...
this might be an all button for your deeper...
11 horses.
Your deeper pick 6 tickets, or at least 8 or 9 of them.
Wow, I mean, there's a lot of... It's an interesting race. I ended up on the 1, Christofferson. I don't love the horse, but I did pick the horse. He's the one running an open company. A lot of these horses have run in BC bred races or sales stake races, which are a lot easier than open company races. But still, this horse was running in Edmonton, and that may not be, the saltiest of horses. I don't know their contingent of 2-year-olds. But the horse goes on Lasix. He's a Rock Hard 10 out of a Rock of Gibraltar mare. Yeah, Rock of Gibraltar was a nice, nice horse, nice miler, just a nice horse. Rock Hard 10 suit, really nice horse. They paid, money to supplement to get in the race.
They're not coming here for nothing.
No, this horse is live, and Rico Walcott rides, goes on Lasix. Obviously was bled last time. That's why maybe things were a little interesting in the stretch in the Birdcatcher. But I'm going to try this horse to win it. Tim Rycroft had a great trip last time he was over here with Academic and the filly. But Heroes of More or something like that. Anyway, but yeah, Christofferson looks like I'm going to try that one, but by no means a key. I mean, this is. I just know that at least this horse has been running an open company with U.S. breds. He's a U.S. It's not closed shop, BC breds and stuff. So Christopherson for me. Power Corrupt, I think, will run all day. And that's the reason I got him in for second. I could see him winning it. He did win the Futurity, once again, against, BC bred company.
But almost all of these guys, the rest of these guys.
But Power Corrupt, that was a big run, and I was very impressed with his effort in the Futurity, and he just strikes me as a horse that'll run quite a ways. And I put the 3-horse Crazy Prophet, that's my silly horse to put in. Just broke his maiden, 24-48, 112 and change, was hit the line like a rocket, beat good as they get. They both exit the Futurity when they were well behind Power Corrupt, but they're both horses that I think this horse is better suited to this distance, and he might be a good price. Birmingham obviously takes off to ride Power Corrupt, but picks up Pedro. I went 1, 5, and 3, but there's a lot going on in here. We Found Gold, I agree, stands in command. Soul Cat's not a bad call. He come back and worked well with Richard Hamill in a minute flat. He had some issues in the Futurity. He'll be better. Groot, he'll like the distance, dashing. There's a lot. Like I said,
Rock Concert ran a way better race last time.
There's a lot going on. This is a very good renewal of the Ascot graduation with 11 of them signed on. But I did go 1, 5, and 3. But I can see all of them running off the ticket. It's just that kind of race. It's a good race. On to the 6th, the Ballerina. For Fillies and Mares going 9 furlongs. We got 8 of them going postward. I ended up on the 7-horse, Rather Beautiful. I'm going to take a shot that she's back in somewhat top form, because if she does get to anywhere near top form, she is miles the best in this race. Miles the best. Rico Walcott rides for Dino, and I know she's got nice works coming into the race, but it hasn't been the best schedule for a horse to come into a graded race. So I went Rather Beautiful to defeat Touching Promise, who will appreciate a wet track. She won the Ballerina last year in the slop, and I think she'll probably get a favorable track for her as well. And I put the 6-horse Lady Rosberg. Seems to be one of the top mares in Seattle. Put her in for 3rd, but she's in the mix. But I left out Locket, who will appreciate the distance change. That's the only one I was kind of disappointed I left out, was Locket. Yeah. But I went 7, 8, and 6.
I left out Rather Beautiful. It's too many question marks for me.
Yeah, that's the problem. You either decide you don't like her, but I just think if everyone runs their best race, all 8 horses,
Rather Beautiful is the best horse.
Rather Beautiful is the horse you would hang your hat on.
Absolutely. I went with Touching Promise. The last 2 times I've picked Locket on top of her. I'm tired of getting beat. So I went with Locket this time. Or Touching Promise, sorry. Locket's been so close to her. It's been 2 heartbreaking losses for Locket. But I did go with Touching Promise on top of Locket.
Yeah.
Of the horses in here, I mean, as you mentioned, like Rather Beautiful is a question mark for me. Everybody else, I think it's Touching Promise and Locket. I think they're the 2 best mares in the race. I went them 1, 2, and I put Lady Rosberg in for 3rd. Comes up here out of the Tom Wenzel barn. The only thing about her, I mean, you have to respect her. Was she 8 for 16 lifetime?
Oh, she's a win machine.
She really is.
And she can sit near the pace. I don't know what her wet track ability is, and her mile and
never run on a wet track. Got a good wet number, but she's never ran on it. But just it seemed to me like her best race was her first race at Emerald. She tailed off a little bit in her second race and then got beat last time. So not really going the right way to come up here and run in a very salty race. She sprinted last time
against Madame Pele. Yeah. I know. I don't like the way she was not even close.
It just doesn't seem going the right way. So I went, I didn't write down my numbers here. I went 8, 1, 6 for me in the Ballerina. On to the premiers, the older horses.
Mile and 3/8.
Mile and 3/8. It's a long way to go. I went to Square Dancer. I picked him 3 straight times. He's won 3 straight times.
Congratulations. You've won every time.
Square Dancer, the people's horse. Love to see him win this race. He obviously loves Hastings. Richard Hamill, I read in the forum, worked him the other day, worked in 59-1. He said this horse is for real. He feels really good. Coming in the race well, there should be enough speed for him to run good. I picked him on top. I put Killing Me Smalls in the 2nd spot. The top older horse at Edmonton. 2 starts, going a mile and 3/8. He's got a win in a second. He can go long. He is part of the pace scenario. He'll be tough. And after that, I put Pop Source, Senior Rojo in the 3rd spot. Another one, 7 starts, going a mile and 3/8. He's got 3 wins.
Yeah, he's a former Premier's winner.
Yeah, the distance could be a question for some of these. I know he'll get the distance. You can make it, I don't mind Don't Hold Me Back either. He sprinted last time and won. He is a 3-year-old going against older horses, but he will like the distance, being a Hold Me Back out of a Victory Gallop mare. He's got a good number. Tough to decide. I went with Square Dancer over Killing Me Smalls and Senior Rojo.
Yeah, I agree with Square Dancer. I'm actually gonna pick Square Dancer.
Actually going to pick it this time? That should stop him.
That should stop him. That'll be the 122 pounds could be.
Yeah,
but,
that's not
Square
gonna
Dancer is just loving this track. He probably he really impressed me last time. He had his worst trip. He could.
Yeah, he was wide.
Of the 3
last
trips he's had, he was wide 2 turns, and he still ran by them all. And impressive, very impressive. And I got to tip my hat to him. I got to go Square Dancer over Killing Me Smalls. Killing Me Smalls, nice win last. Got back on track in the Speed to Spare. He was unlucky last year in the Randall Plate. This horse was at Hastings, was shut off. There was inquiry. There was shut off at the start. I had a lot of trouble in that race around 4th behind horses that were in form. Mr. Bowling, Mysterious Soul, and Wild Ocat was in top form too. This is not that tough at premiers.
No.
This race came up pretty soft for a premiers. And this horse, if he gets left alone on the head end, Killing Me Small is going to be really tough. And I put the 7 horse Brass and Gold, who always shows up. He's just a cool horse. I put 1, 6, and 7. But Square Dancer and Killing Me Smalls, I think, are your top 2. I went 1, 6, 7. On to the 8th and final $16,000 older geldings. Or 3 and up, going a mile and the 16th. Got a field of 9. I ended up on the 4 horse, Laguna Blaze. Excuse me. I think Laguna Blaze and the 6 off the top are the ones coming out of the the tough race, which is the open 25,000, the optional 25,000. That's Senior Rojo won, who's in the premiers. El Capone, title contender. I mean, those 4 horses were killing
That's
each
a
other.
tough one, yeah.
And Laguna Blaze did out battle off the top, and that's why he's on the pace with them. That's the only reason I went that way. That's close between those 2. I put Rosie's Notice, a 3-year-old, in for 3rd. I went 4, 6, and 3.
I don't have a whole lot to add. I have the same horses, but I do think it is Laguna Blazer off the top. It's one of those, whoever works out the trip will probably get there because there's not much separating them. The difference, like Laguna Blaze ran for this price, 2 back, 1 by a length and a half. Off the top is dropping to a new low.
It's Richard Hamill. That'll be a
that won't hurt him.
That won't hurt.
So it's 4, 6, 6, 4, and I put Rosie's Notice in for 2nd in the last. I went 4, 6, and 3. That'll do it for our analysis of the big day, the Thanksgiving Monday card. Up next on screen will be our picks. Mike, as always, you're first.
There we go. Back on race number 1. I went to the 7 horse Hidden Harbor. Big dropping filly. 7, 4, and 3. Race number 2, I went to the 8. Leo's in the house over the 3 after the court. And the 4, Chapel Boy. Race number 3, I did go to the 5. Sea to Eau Claire, first of our stakes races. Also the first leg of the Sea to Sky Pick 6, which may have a carryover. Probably will have a carryover heading into it. I went 5, 3, and 1 in the fantasy. In race number 3, onto the 4th, I went to the 4. What Goes Around over the 5, Francer's Finest, and the 8, Ain't Tellin'. The 5th race, the Ascot Graduation, I went to the 1, Christofferson coming in from Alberta for the River's Edge, and Tim Rycroft won 5 and 3 for me in the Ascot. Race number 6, this is the Ballerina. I went to the 7, Rather Beautiful, to defeat the 8, Touching Promise, and the 6, Lady Rosberg. The 7th is the BC Premiers. I'm going to call for the 1, Square Dancer, to continue on his track. Probably be Horse of the Year if he does win this race. 1, 6, and he definitely will be. 1, 6, and 7 in the BC Premiers in race number 7. And the 8th and final, I went to the 4 horse, Laguna Blaze. Tough call between the 4 or 6, but I went 4, 6, and 3.
On to my picks, I agree with Mike in the first. Number 7, Hidden Harbor over the 4 and the 3. In the second, I went to the 7, CA Miss over the 1 and the 6. In the third, See You at Eau Claire, the fantasy. Number 5 over the 6, McDove, and the 3, Snuggles. In the 4th, the endurance race, I went to the 5, Franzer's Finest over the 2 and the 8. In the 5th, the Ascot Graduation, I went to the 7, We Found Gold over the 5, Power Corrupt, and the 8, Stands in Command. In the 6th, the Ballerina, I went looking for her to win it 2 years in a row. Number 8, Touching Promise over the 1, Locket, and the 6, Lady Rosberg. In the 7th, the Premiers, I agree with Mike on number 1, Square Dancer over the 6, Killing Me Smalls, and the 3, Senior Rojo. And in the nightcap, I went to the 4, Laguna Blaze over the 6 off the top, and the 3, Rosie's Notice. As Mike mentioned, a lot to be decided on Monday.
Yep.
Champion, the horse of the year. I think if Square Dancer wins, he's
locked up.
He's Horse of the Year. If he gets beat and Touching Promise wins, She's horse of the year.
Interesting. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Academic still eligible.
Yeah.
I don't know. The rules are a little muddled, but I mean, a horse like Academic, who's only raced here once, who was very impressive, the filly winning the BC Derby, may take.
They used to do that
honors.
in Seattle. Basically, if you won the mile, they might as well hand you the horse of the year
Right.
trophy right there. They changed it to where you have to run there twice.
Right.
I think that's a better way to go about it.
Yeah.
But there is a lot to be decided. Obviously, Theo and Eau Claire going for a near perfect season. And then the boys, the Ascot's wide open.
That is wide open. That'll decide 2-year-old honors. Stands in Command, Power Corrupt, and others in there. It'll be an interesting. It's a great day. Anytime you have these championship type races, it's always a lot of fun. You want a fast track, but we're not going to get it. It's going to be likely sloppy.
It's going to be muddy. It looks like.
It's going to be muddy to sloppy, but it'll still be a fun day. And once again, everything gets underway at 1:50. Don't forget, we go back to the Saturday-Sunday routine, and we do
2 more weekends.
The 18th and actually the 17th and 18th, and then the 24th and 25th. Those are our last 2 weekends. But we still have more racing after this Thanksgiving holiday weekend. But thanks everyone for tuning in. On behalf of Drew, we've enjoyed putting the show on for you. Hopefully, you have lots of luck on the weekend, and we'll see you next time here at the Derby Bar and Grill.